This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Ford, and Mike Haspel. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here in SoCal.
Yo, what's going on? Now we can officially say Juice checking in from the East Coast.
Yep.
We'll shout out everywhere we're at because we got all the different parts of the country basically taken care of.
Yep, yeah. we got somebody in each time zone, except for the mountain zone. I don't think that's a real zone, so we're just.
We don't have anyone. We have no one in the mountain zone whatsoever.
That's me in God's country in the mountain zone. We have no one in Central.
Wait, you're not in Central?
No, man. Colorado's in mountain.
Yeah. Turns out he lives in the Rocky Mountains. Turns out that's the mountains.
I don't think we can say the Central time zone doesn't exist. Somebody might catch us on that one.
It doesn't exist.
I don't know. Anyways, so we got a good show tonight. Definitely a lot of stuff going on. Shipped out Kickstarters. We got a great tabletop market watch for everybody too. Plus, I know Haspel wants to talk about some new book stuff because he's the book man. Kenny is turns out Kenny's still with us. Kenny didn't go anywhere, so
I'm here. I did not get fired, I don't think. Did you guys fire me?
No.
Juice, did you fire me?
No, I didn't fire you. I thought you did you put a 2-week notice in?
I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to do anything crazy, but show me with me. So,
just to address all the potential worry out there, which I'm flattered that anyone was worried at all about this situation, this our tiny little corner of the interwebs, which Juice, I believe you have the definition of what the interwebs is.
Yeah, it's a group of tubes taped together, cylinders.
Vacuum pump.
That's right. It's surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in direct line with a panometric fan.
Yep, that.
So in our small world, in our small corner of that, I'm flattered that people are concerned that I might be leaving, but no, I'm just moving. And because of the interwebs, this tubes and algorithmic variables, we're still able to do the show, even though we're doing some new technology today. I'm in a holding pattern in my mobile Beats lab. I'm actually using my cell phone right now. We're doing a new technology, doing some behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully this isn't shitty.
Yeah,
it does not sound shitty.
No, because we're trying something new right now. So
yep, lots of new technology. This is actually getting recorded in whoa, that was weird. In a Google Hangout, which is, I guess people can technically jump in and be a part of it right now. I don't know.
Yeah, anyone can watch this now.
We've actually got 15 people hanging out with us.
Really?
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So,
well, all right.
So, congratulations on being the first people ever to watch the live recording of a podcast. We're also going to be.
Is that a thing?
Inside us.
Yes.
Not necessarily their mind, anywhere you want to be inside, but inside us.
Is there questions? Let's see. No, nobody's doing questions. That's good. We're not answering those. We're
not answering them anyway. But also, Haspel, on the subject before we move on, Haspel might be. So, I heard you're getting fired.
Not exactly. I just had to finances being what they are, had to go back crawling to my old job, and so I will be missing about a third of the webcasts and podcasts. So every time I get a swing shift, because it's a rotating shift job, but I'm fighting the good fight against Daesh and all those guys.
It's tough to make life decisions when they involve having to get paid. So Haspel, we understand.
Yeah, eating is definitely good. So, speaking of eating, we got a very exciting new segment that might be coming out here in the near future, featuring Juicy J, and we're going to talk about that as well. And I think we got a pretty good webcast recap to talk about. But the main point of the show is Space Wolves.
What about them?
Do they live up to the hype? Is the hype real?
Are they the real deal?
The real deal, Holyfield.
Obviously, we're not going to answer that question at this moment. We're going to make you wait 40 more minutes.
At least 45 minutes. Maybe less. Probably less. But all that aside, did you guys see the Independent Characters podcast came back?
No, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. So they're doing it. They're kind of doing it like we used to do our videos, where we would just bang everything out on a weekend. They're kind of doing the same thing. So so they were always more on the tutorial side, or excuse me, the narrative side. So they might not cover as much current events, I guess, but that's okay. They usually, man, they usually knock it out of the park, and it's just another great podcast series.
Do you know if they're bringing back like the hobby challenge and all that stuff?
I couldn't tell you.
Because that's awesome.
That would be pretty neat. So
Yes.
I think they're just doing it on a trial basis to see if they can make it work and stuff, time wise, because we all know how much time this stuff takes.
Yeah, come to find out, anybody and everybody's like, hey, why don't we do a podcast? Because those guys are doing it. Hey, why don't we do a Kickstarter? Because obviously it's easy because these guys must be doing it. Like, they don't realize how much time, effort, work, how many Robbie B's and Kenny's and stuff you need to make something go down, so.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Speaking of Kickstarters, you guys packed a bunch of stuff, right?
True story. All the Kickstarter stuff is out and in the mail. We have the basically general manager of the shipping department whipped the lash, and we basically banged it out. Robbie B and I.
Supervisor Ming came down on Juice pretty hard during.
Yep. Yeah. Made sure. Everything was done. I think Robbie B, between Sunday and yesterday, we bang out it's like 170 packages.
I think the official count was 180 actually.
Okay.
Yep, 180 packages. So it was hot and heavy.
Yeah, and time is of the essence too, because it's a busy time for everybody. Adepticon around the corner. This is a real busy time for my business. Personally and everything else, and so we finally were able to get all the product in, and we did one foul swoop, banged it all out. Now, Robbie B, you did shout out in the webcast tonight and let everybody know that if you did get a game mat, whether that be Star Wars and or a battle mat version of it,
40K style.
the 40K style mat, those will be in two separate.
Yep. You'll get two separate shipments. So all the game mats went out this morning. So, this morning being Wednesday morning. So chances are you might see it by the weekend, but if not, early next week.
And then
That's so good.
Does that also include? That's the people who ordered the terrain sets and the other stuff like that. That will be another direct ship.
So yeah, those are getting shipped from the other folks. One is coming out of Canada, but it's going to Canada, so it shouldn't be a big thing, I don't think. And then there's another one going out to across the country. I think those will get shipped out here shortly if they haven't already. So,
but the T-shirts, the buttons, the stickers, the absolutely everything else, the shot glasses, the sick ass dice bags,
and the hobby painter boxes will also be going out here shortly if they haven't already. Tim will be mailing those out as well.
And then
so the Kickstarter is done. We did it. We wrapped it up.
Yep, we sure did.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You guys are beasts. So you guys are not getting fired anytime soon.
Oh, thanks. I'm a keeper.
Yeah, we definitely got the Gold Star Award for those last couple of days.
Whew. It was for real. Tomorrow, actually, I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out, all of them. So that'll be.
I mean, obviously, you're like a 20-year-old kid, right? So it's not gonna be a big deal, right?
Yeah, the doctor was like, "How are you 40 and you have your wisdom teeth still in?" I was like, "Yo, dog, mistakes were made." And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, "Is that how you talk?" And I was like, "Not really."
Yes.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah. First off, two things. This is my real talking voice.
Yeah.
I am 40, but I am basically 26. Okay.
Yeah. It was funny. It was just an interesting conversation. So, and apparently it's $500 more to get like sedated. So I was like, "Yeah, you got local, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
wow.
About halfway through that, Rob, you're gonna realize that at that point you have fucked up.
Yeah, that you're gonna be like, I immediately regret this decision.
Nah, Robbie B, I endorse this, dog. You're like, I just paid $500 to see if I'm a man or not.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's
true. Look at it this way. That's a lot of groceries, dog.
Absolutely.
That's true.
I want you to know I've had every version of anything's procedure to be done in your mouth. I've had it happen. I've had a gum extension. The fuck is that? I know. I don't know either, but I've had it. Okay. I've had all 4 of my wisdom teeth were impacted. They all had to be surgically removed. I've had multiple root canals, everything else, right? Let me tell you what, it ain't that big a deal. You'll be able to bang it out. The worst part is dry socket afterwards, dealing with it. But so anyway, we all know how terrible that is, right? So Robbie B's in our discussion of when we're gonna bang out all this stuff for the Kickstarter, we're like, man, Thursday we got to get it done by then. And Robbie B told me about that, and I said, damn, I got my meeting with my tax agent, for it to deal with the last.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah, for my business, and I'm behind this guy. This is this huge ordeal, right? And Robbie B looked at me and he's like, "Guess which one of us is going to have more fun on Thursday?"
Not gonna lie, I'd rather have my wisdom teeth pulled.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think once you put it in perspective, sometimes it just doesn't seem that
seriously.
bad.
Yeah, first off, getting your wisdom teeth pulled is like a benefit to your body.
Yeah.
Paying your taxes is like literally makes me want to kill myself every time.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
dude, it's taxes. Taxes are whew,
Yo, don't pay
real.
your taxes, and the IRS will come take the wisdom teeth you don't have anymore.
Yo, we
Yeah,
were just talking about that, like how the Fresh Prince got started, because he did that summertime song or whatever it was, and then like he spent all the money, and then the IRS was like, yo, so it turns out you had a really good song.
Turns out you better get a hit TV show right now. We're gonna put you in jail.
Well, that's what Quincy Jones was for, but
Fresh Prince jail.
yeah, well, yeah,
The Fresh Prince of jail.
It just goes to show you sometimes adversity like defines you. You're like, who would have thought Will Smith would be, as successful as he is today if he didn't like have to hustle to get these taxes paid and put him on the path to acting.
The star of the 2 greatest movies of all time. Choose, what are
Independence
they?
Day.
Nope, those aren't them. Choose, what are they?
Just say that one more time. The 2 what?
The 2 greatest movies of all time are starring Will Smith. What are they?
Starring Will Smith. We've already decided Independence Day, isn't there?
Nope, it's not
All
involved.
right, Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, it was like,
Correct,
I
sir.
realized as
You
soon
are
as I
correct,
said
sir.
it- As soon as I said it, I was like, God.
I was like, yo, if we're gonna play this game, yes, Independence Day. All right, if not, absolutely Star Wars 1 and 2, or excuse me, Bad Boys 1 and 2.
He was also in Star Wars 1 and 2. People don't realize that.
Yeah,
That is not
he
true.
was the Darth Lord.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Anyway, back on track.
Tabletop
What-
Market Watch.
Tabletop Market Watch. Do it.
So we got some Age of Sigmar coming out this week. The Drakos, the little dragon, little
All right,
cute
back
little
to
lizard
Will
kittens.
Smith.
Yeah, about to say. Okay, back to Bad Boys 2 because I can't. Nobody actually plays Age of Sigmar. Am I
That
right?
is not true.
Okay, well, I'm jumping the gun a little bit on the webcast recap, but Sal F. out of Chicago was talking about how they're using Age of Sigmar to start a Blood Bowl league. So there are people doing Age of Sigmar stuff out there, and the models are gorgeous. So convert them, man, or play the game.
You can do. I mean, they have really upped their game with design and everything like that with these Age of Sigmar models. And a lot of people, they don't see them getting played. You don't see Archaon on the tabletop or Archaon on the tabletop. You used to really appreciate how badass of a model that guy is. Now, granted, it's probably not going to see a lot of play because not as many stores are as welcoming to Age of Sigmar as perhaps they should be, or the players, or whatever the actual problem is. It's hard to say, but.
We all know what the problem is. There's no point systems. There's no.
We could fill a whole episode on what
Yes.
happened, what went down, but
you are right. The models are sick as shit, and it seems like most people are getting out of the game system is the models. So
yeah,
I am glad to see that there's new models.
and that's a really good thing, and it's it's interesting to see what's going on internally at Games Workshop with all the gears grinding and things, and nothing I can get into on the record, but anyhow, so that's a really big release. Next week we'll probably see some sort of crazy dragon thing for that. But maybe more importantly to some folks, by the way, congratulations to X-Wing. It is now the highest selling game. It overtook Warhammer as an air quote blanket statement according to ICV2 this fall. Now Games Workshop has been dethroned to the number 2 position.
Wow,
That is not surprising in any way.
that is huge.
Not only that, but Fantasy Flight has 2 games that they own in the top 5 highest selling independent non-collectible games in the industry. third, Attack Wing, they basically license to WizKids. So technically, they have the vast majority of the top 5 right now.
Damn.
So I'm gonna throw this out there as a pipe dream. Okay, real quick. I would like to see Battlefleet Gothic with Armada type rules. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
It is very similar. Like, it's eerily similar. When I was learning Armada, I was like, this is just like BFG. What the heck?
Probably not better.
Yeah, I was like, it's actually more refined and way. There's a certain feel to each one, and there's certain pros and cons to each one. But obviously, at the end of the day, I feel like for a general population, that most people are going to prefer pre-painted that looks dope over a hobby aspect. That is the niche of the niche of the niche, which we all know at this point. So, Armada is a great game, fantastic game. I can't say enough good things about Armada. It is literally the most strategic game I have ever played. There is one battle report that I have recorded that we, hopefully will get to the light of day, because I know I promised it to a lot of my Patreons. Like, hey, we're going to start.
Wait, hold on a second. You said it's the most strategic game. Me and Juice, we played checkers all day. You're telling me it's more strategic than that?
It's a tad bit more. You don't have the kinging aspect in it.
So it's garbage.
It sounds like it's garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly terrible.
Can I pass go and collect $200?
No.
Well, I mean, I'm just kidding. So
I'm not seeing the appeal.
Yeah. This sounds stupid. I don't like it.
Robbie B, I'd like to get your opinion on something, because you've basically been, like, as long as I've known you, like, you've known more on the inside guts of the operation of 40K, or excuse me, not 40K, of GW as a business, because that's where your brain is at. And from that gaming side of it and that aspect, we've always kind of worried about, well, what's going to happen when GW realizes they're not the big guy on the block anymore? What about them losing their employees to start other games and whatnot? How big a deal do you think that is for GW not being the #1 game system anymore, to losing it to Star Wars, who, in all reality, how long has this game been out? 3-4 years?
2012. So it's going on. It's in April. It'll be 4 years for X-Wing.
So you're saying, like, it hasn't even been through multiple editions.
Nope.
It doesn't even have, and it's already, now granted, it's on the platform of probably the biggest series there is, or
it kind of sells itself in some regards there, right?
Yeah, but you still got to have good rule sets, and this is obviously some of that. So, like, from that standpoint of it, where are we at? Where do you think the company of GW, do you think they've looked at that?
Well, the GW today definitely is aware of the X-Wing air quotes problem. They've discussed it. It's come up in executive meetings from what I've heard. They are very aware of the situation, and they're keeping a wary eye on it. And they've developed specialist games to try to be more reactive and try to come to market with stuff quicker. And that hasn't all gotten up and going. It will take some time. Companies like this, they kind of grind along almost like the Imperium itself, but once they get up to full steam, they're a juggernaut. And we're probably not going to see a lot of that until, 2017. I don't know why that keeps doing that. It's like literally audible sound, but I have headphones in. It doesn't make sense.
That's a computer, Rob. It's on the interwebs. Fix it.
But that's the thing. Like, I am plugged into that computer. I am hearing you, but it's making an audible sound as well. It's like, it defies logic. I don't even know what to say.
I apologize for how unprofessional this podcast has become.
This is clown shoes.
Well, I feel like it could be a good thing, because I feel like GW could be right now with oh no, our missile program's good. We're doing awesome. We're the #1 in the Russians just did what? They orbited a satellite.
Yeah.
They did what?
That's where I'm at. Like, it might not even just the fact that it's the game, and they don't need to come out with a new Star Wars game. That's not the point of what I'm thinking. It's like, I think this might just be like an eye opener, saying, we aren't this anymore. Like, just imagine all these cool ass games, that small miniatures games that have Kickstarter, that have all this and that have a great following now.
They've got to realize that you're right, that there's all these people coming up, right? But only one person's dethroned them. And finally, sure, they have a big IP, but this hasn't happened before, and there's been a lot of IPs in the past that were big too. GW might have to take a look in the mirror and realize that a lot of this might be on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of internal politics and a lot of things that get discussed and a lot of things that are brought up that there's a lot of denial. There's a lot going on internally at Games Workshop. Again, I can't talk about it, but people have taken notice to what's going on, and there is things going on in the company right now between a whole bunch of marked divisions in that do things.
When are they just going to take us up on our offer? Just hire us. Fucking just hire us. Just do it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Games Workshop actually offered to hire me once. I still have the offer letter. It's a hoot, but
dude, literally give us European minimum wage right now, and or just European healthcare.
It's not
anything.
as much as you think.
Just give me European healthcare. I don't even care, man. We'll do all the work for you. Like God.
Yeah,
anyway, before we turn this podcast into a boring ass NPR show, let's move on to a topic that's much more interesting than X-Wing.
Well, my point of getting to X-Wing was that there are X-Wing new releases coming out next week. Wave 8 is actually going to come out on the 17th on St. Patty's Day. Hooray! So that should be fun. People have been really waiting on these new ships. So
obviously, releases is not the only thing people care about. They care about because obviously GW does a lot of releases.
GW does, and that's not to say that GW won't take that spot back. Like, don't get it twisted. It's not like, oh, the sky's falling, GW's dead to us. Like, it's not that. It's just, it's sales. It's
there's enough pieces of the pie. They're still a $100 million company.
And honestly, I cannot downplay Star Wars. I mean, it's the largest franchise ever.
This data is from fall of 2015 too. So was this a big lead up to episode 7 hype? Is it gonna, when you see the numbers for the next year, will it simmer back down? It's these are things that we don't know yet. So it's not to say the sky is falling, but in my particular job, air quotes, I feel like a lot of times individual opinions are not as important as trends. And now we have a metric, a live trend that is pointing to something that goes against what Games Workshop has been saying. That's all I'm saying. But, kudos to FOG. They got it going on.
In a quick defense of Games Workshop, I would also say that Games Workshop selling a lifestyle, a hobby, whereas X-Wing is a game. It's a one-shot thing. So yeah, I mean that there is a kind of apples to oranges comparison there. And I play both games. I love them both. So
sure, yeah, so
it's no stake in it.
I think a lot of people do. It's almost like an expansion of the hobby, like getting into X-Wing on the side and also staying, playing 40K and things like that, because you can get a game in quicker with X-Wing. But, that being said, Games Workshop's making a lot of moves. They're doing a lot of things. Like, for instance, they got a new book series coming out, right, Haspel?
Yeah, so they are releasing 18 new books from the Black Library, and if you think that number is a coincidence, it's not, because that series is called The Primarchs. Now, they're going to be leading it off with Roboute Guilliman, and I guess it's going to be just various different novels about either how the Primarch met the Emperor or how they are a hero at a particular battle after they've joined or something like that. So each one's going to be kind of different, exploring. Hopefully they're not going to follow the same pattern, otherwise that'll get old very quickly. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how they do Layman Russ, and is he going on a beer run at the end and whatever.
Layman Russ, he is such a beast. Love Layman Russ.
Oh yeah, he's
he ain't no sucker punching bitch, is he?
No, so
I see what you did there.
Yeah, Lionel Johnson can't take a joke.
He can't. He really fucking can't. And it's upsetting because I love the Dark Angels. As far as regular Imperial fluff goes, I've always been a super. I'm like Goldberg. Remember back in the day when it was NWO all day, every day, NWO for life, and WCW was the enemy, and Goldberg was the enemy. I would be like, fuck Goldberg, his reign ends tonight. NWO, too sweet. And then I go home, I take my NWO shirt off, wash off my NWO temporary tattoos, put on my Goldberg shirt in my bedroom where no one could see me, and light some Goldberg candles, and I would watch WCW and root for Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? So that's my relationship with Dark Angels and Lionel Johnson. And it's like, man, you don't make it easy when you're just a little sucker puncher who can't take a joke. Like, cultural intolerance. Only two things in this world I can't stand: people intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Oh my! Shots fired.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good book series. It's and they've said that they're going to do it over 4 years. So I feel like they got a little bit of hate because the heresy's just kind of dragging on. It's just dragging on. We're just making books. So this will definitely be nice to know that, hey, we have a definitive. It's going to be done in 4 years. Yes.
Yeah, they've got a cow that is giving good milk, and they're not gonna just use it up very quickly.
Good analogy. That's a good analogy. But we are about at our halfway point. We should take a quick commercial break. Hopefully everything goes according to plan because we are in the Mobile Beats Lab trying new technology out. So let's do this commercial break and hear from our sponsors. Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. And we're back.
Sweet.
You got a sweet melody there, dude.
I know, man.
I've
been practicing that. So before we jump into the next topic, I forgot. So many things have happened to me in the last week. I was on the road so many hours. I can't remember a time in my life I wasn't on the road. And a lot of things happened that I was like, I'm going to talk about this in the podcast. I'm going to talk about this in the podcast. And other podcasts actually here, and I forgot some of them. But here's one I didn't forget. Juice, do you remember when I called you? I had not even left North Carolina yet, and I had to call you to tell you what my brother said.
Yeah.
I was like, Juice, you need to hear this. I know you're super busy. You're doing this, but you need to hear it. I think that was that day you were literally dying.
I was sick as can be, dying from food poisoning.
Yeah. You were literally dying. And I was like, so David, my brother, who we've talked about a lot of times, he hit me up. He sent me a voicemail, like 100 voicemails, so frantic, like I'm on the road packing. I was like, this must be serious. I'll actually listen to a voicemail for the first time in my fucking life because it's 2016. Who leaves voicemails,
Like it's the 90s.
Like, seriously. And so he's like, dog, I'm in Miami right now, chilling at like the Fuddruckers Cafe on like South Dixie Highway. And there's this old dude, maybe 75 years old with a muscle shirt on, big old like hat on and a cigar walking across the street. And he's wearing a Buff Bagwell t-shirt from the WCW era in the 90s pro wrestling era. And anyone who doesn't know like Buff Bagwell, like this is like the back in the day. And then you want to talk about one of the corniest wrestlers of all time. Tagline, Buff, I'm Buff and I'm the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a top hat with his face photorealistically airbrushed on the top of it. So like when he'd like get in his flex pose and look down at the ground, his top hat would still have his face on it. Like it was ridiculous. I loved him even though he was ridiculous. And I was like, dog, you didn't stop him? He's like, nah, man, I didn't think to. I was like, it's obviously either his dad or him.
Yeah, for real. That is literally Buff Bagwell himself. And he's just feeling himself wearing his own shirt.
Yeah, there's nobody on earth who would still own that shirt, let alone wear it if it wasn't him or his dad.
Dang.
Like, you didn't, like the voicemail, yes, you were right to leave me a voicemail.
And wrestlers don't age well. Like
they don't.
Big Papa Pump looks like he's 100.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's probably the chemicals.
You know what I mean? Like, Sting.
Oh, Ric Flair. Oh my God, all of them.
Yeah.
McMahon doesn't look that bad though. He looks.
But
this man's a billionaire. He has all the drugs and chemicals.
Yeah,
the good stuff.
He's like the evil comic book hero or villain that always like tests out all the new product to keep himself alive, younger, but secretly is dying.
But that's why he's also like secretly a rage monster.
So he's the Fabius Bile of the.
Yeah, of the pro wrestling world.
Yeah.
Listen, man, please don't come after us and shut us down.
We mean it in the nicest way possible, I swear.
I mean, it's sir. I mean, in a nice way possible. You're epic, and the show you put on is amazing. But anyway, like I just want to hit you guys with one of my road stories. I've got many of them. I'll be leaking them as we go. But I think it's time to go to the world famous webcast recap by Mike Haspel.
Right. So we start off the webcast recap with Branton Yates asking, where can international peeps get one of those cool dice bags or any of the other swag, honestly, that came out of the Kickstarter?
You talk about the legendary dice bag of the legendary item inventory pouch of holding.
Yeah, I'm planning on carrying all my drop pods for the Black Mains in that bag.
It is in
That could
all
probably work.
intents and purposes, it is a dice bag, but once Tom Cruise gets a hold of it, casts some witchcraftery, it becomes a bag of holding.
Yeah, that is awesome. So yeah, anyway, he was asking where he could get one of those.
Well, so basically, this is the rundown. We do have some items that are left. I think we've got some of those cool ass dice bags. We got this and this. We have decided to reserve anything that is left for Adepticon. That is the next biggest event that you will be able to get. Some of the items, we have just a few T-shirts, just a few shotgun. There's just a little bit of each left, and we'll be able to get that to anybody that's Adepticon. Anything else, we will be doing once, twice a year a new run of things. Where basically we put out a new color, a new this, where to keep some of the exclusivity to what we've already produced. I know we've talked about behind the scenes on how much potentially we don't really like the system.
The system is flawed.
There is obviously we can just do it better is what we're trying to say. They suck, we're better. I'm just kidding.
More better.
Yeah, most bestest. But so basically that's where we're at. So we will be doing another event. It will not be something as a Kickstarter with that logo on it, but it still will be a community funded where your money by purchasing these items will let us upgrade just another facet of the Long War brand. And conversely, you'll be able to get some new cool product.
Very cool. Very cool. Our next thing up, we got congrats going out to Spencer Cohen. He says, thanks for turning me on to Jimmer because he can mess around with the Iwata. He was our winner for the Iwata Eclipse airbrush thing. So that was pretty cool.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Jimmer was a sponsor of ours that picked up and is a community-based site, kind of like a Facebook and everything else, where you can go check out. It's just basically another form of social media. So you haven't already, if you've surely heard it through the podcast, the commercials and whatnot that we've ran, either way, go to Jimmer and check out a new kind of social media.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good place to just throw up all your pictures and everything of your collections and stuff like that, and people can ooh and ah and comment and everything. It's pretty tight. And then I wanted to call out Chris McMiles. Down under in Australia, because we were talking about prize support on the webcast, and he brought up some insane prize support that we were all like, what are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. Winner.
A four-man event, I think, where first place got $950.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Well, he clarified things during the webcast when we weren't able to like revisit stuff too much, but it's like a 40K fight club. Like it's an underground, like crazy thing. He says he has people come in from 5 hours away, and they have 200 people that meet once a month to play 40K. I'm like, that's unbelievable. That's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty freaking awesome. So I threw down the gauntlet trying to see what it would take for some of us here in the Long War to either do a team, go over one-on-one, whatever. We need to raise the stakes a little bit to see if the Long War can't get their hands in basically playing for some pink slips.
Not
Dude,
it.
Can you imagine like it's like magic? You like show up and you're just like, okay, you got to play for Auntie. Like put up your best painted model.
I'll put up a cat. I mean,
that would be ruinous. I'm like, oh my god, I would not play 40K.
Too much cat.
Then we got a question from Clay Cruz. He's asking, should he get the new Tau Supremacy armor, or should he get a Storm Surge for his Tau because he's been losing too many games of late?
I would go with Storm Surges, but it almost feels like the Storm Surge, like you got to field in twosies. I feel like maybe I'm wrong there.
Yeah, the firepower that it can put out is ridiculous. I definitely like it. I like the Supremacy too, but I think it's overpowered and stupid, so I can't push anybody to try to buy it. I think it's not good. But no, a storm surge or two could fix where you need to be at. Also, one thing, Clay, that I will say is to think outside the box. Maybe you've been playing Tau for a long time and we've been able to play in quite a few tournaments together and stuff like that. Think outside the box. Take your normal list that you've been playing and switch it up a little bit. I know for a cool fun event you brought nothing but like Tau flyers, so that was definitely cool. But like take your competitive list and kind of shake it up a little bit and see what you get.
Good deal. Good deal.
I think that's good advice.
And then we wanted to talk about like we're going to be at Adepticon at the end of the month, and so we were going to be doing some interviews and stuff with folks. I don't have the details, but I guess Kenny and Rob do.
Yes. So we will be up there the night of the 30th. I think Kenny will be there the 31st. Our event is the 1st, which is also day 2 for the singles for 40K. So we might have some openings. I'm not sure if people drop, but then I think we're going to do a meet and greet Friday night, I want to say. So we'll have more details coming out on that here shortly as well. So make sure you keep an ear out to all the medias for that.
Yeah, and basically the goal is to be walking around between myself, Rob, and Kenny at different times during Adepticon, do some Q&As and do some interviews, and basically just kind of, feel it out. And we've got some pretty cool questions and questionnaires for people. And, kind of see this would kind of be, it's one of the only couple major events out of the year, if you would agree, Rob, and the rest of the guys, that there's that many gamers that we can put our hands on.
No, it would definitely be great to do some interviews with folks. We'll have some questions set ready to go. I know just saying hi to everybody, all our supporters. Everybody that helped out with the Kickstarter. Obviously, can't thank you enough there. Spikey Bits will be running around taking pictures of all the armies that are out. Giving away some swag. We got some freebies to give out to everybody, and we'll also be just taking random video footage, of the whole event and talking to folks and armies and things. So it's always a good time, for those of you at home that can't make it or, whatever, aren't able to get out to it or don't even live in the country. We're also going to be posting all that over on Spiky Bits.
We're going to be giving out plenty of hugs and handies, don't you?
All the hugs and handies all over the internet.
Videotaping all of it.
It's going to be a good time. Definitely come up and say hi to us, and it's good time.
Absolutely. So to take over a little bit towards the end of the webcast recap, we basically Kenny we lost him for a little bit, but he basically broke it down on us on one of his through the journey of Kenny. And during his 36-hour time frame, he was able to do a lot of talking and going back and forth with his girlfriend, who has a big movie producing kind of mind and stuff, and basically came up with the idea, and we broke the idea. Actually, it just got broke onto me not an hour ago during the webcast, but basically of doing a in the mind of Juice cooking show. We're basically getting people going ballistic in the Q&A tonight, getting names for it, like what was a couple haspel?
The Eats Laboratory.
Yeah, the Eats Laboratory. Oh, who said that? That was so epic.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Ironheaded DOF said that.
Yes, he killed it. He definitely got the Gold Star Award. Cooking with Juice, this and this, and basically the segment would be a what can gamers eat? Let's take cooking. It's not this boogeyman in the room. Give my 17 years of experience and put it on camera and show you guys kind of what I do, where Kenny actually paints models for a living. That's what he does. And Rob actually internets and models for a living. So that's and cats. He videotapes all 3 of those. And so basically, I'm going to show you what I do, put it in the Beats Laboratory, my kitchen, and maybe I can take some requests. It's Valentine's, it's a date night, it's this and this. I'm going to show you guys how you can kind of spice it up. Maybe if nothing else, you need this information so you can suck up to make sure you can get to Adepticon next year. A couple good dinners with me and you'll be at Adepticon. Okay?
Nice.
Gotta say that.
Well, guys,
gotta say that Skrilla.
Yeah, absolutely. So be looking for that segment coming very soon. But I guess we've blown through enough. Robbie B, I think it's time.
It's been the aforementioned 45 minutes of waiting. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do it on purpose. We obviously get super off topic like all the time.
No, not us.
No, not us. So we wanted to talk more about Space Wolves because they're really seeming to make a splash. Them and demons, obviously, but we talk about demons literally all the time on here, literally. So I wanted to hit up more about Space Wolves because Space Wolves actually won the team tournament that was this weekend here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And because Wolfen are a thing now, like if you haven't got hit in the face with some Wolfen yet, like you're in for quite the experience. They are ridiculous if they get there, and they have what they need to get there. I feel like a lot of times, and there's a couple different builds that you can take that we can talk about, but also, Haspel's got a build that he's taken to Adepticon.
That's right. Yeah.
I figured we'd just break this down. So what are you feeling?
I'm running something that I don't know of stuff that I thought I could paint quickly. That's what determined what I was bringing to Adepticon. So it's not scientific in any way. But when I saw the black mains, I just started kind of salivating. So I am bringing the black mains with like 7 drop pods and a couple of speeders for objective grabbing, and then the Weird Storm. Just because when I saw this, the Weird Storm Brotherhood, they have this thing called the Living Storm. And in the Weird Storm Brotherhood, it's a bunch of rune priests, like 2 to 5 rune priests. Mm-hmm. They can harness warp charge points on a 3-up.
But that's only for the Tempestus, right?
Yeah, but that's all I'm going to use because I'm just using Living Lightning and this thing called the Living Storm, which is 3 warp charges, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a 24-inch range, strength 7, AP dash, so it's just like Living Lightning except it's got 6 more inches on it. But it's assault 2d6 and has the shock rule, which is that old Necron Tesla. For every 6, you get 2 extra hits.
But not if you snap fire, right?
But not if you snap fire, correct. Yeah. But here's the deal. Here's the killer, right? Is that if you have a bunch of rune priests in there, for every additional rune priest, it's an additional 1d6. So it starts off as 2d6, and then it just kind of exponentially gets kind of ridiculous. Well, there's a piece of war gear called the Helm of Durfast, I think that's what it's called, that lets you reroll all misses to hit, and it ignores cover. It's beautiful. It's like 20 points. So you can just that's what I'm rocking. And unfortunately, that kind of breaks my Decurion. I was going to run Murderfang, but he kind of just doesn't fit with the way I want to play it. So,
absolutely. I think a lot of people are going to be playing it. Well, so guys, this is basically where I'm at. I would like to go ahead and make a bold statement saying if we all would agree that Eldar is the best codex out there. Agreed?
I think Eldar's definitely, if it's not, it's one of the
I just don't even know
top
how
3.
it can be number 1. It's number 1 at everything. So let's remove, when we speak of codexes being, best, this and this, literally it is a blanket statement knowing that Eldar is number 1. So with that being said, I would think with all this stuff that is coming out, we've got the Wolfen. We've got rules out there allowing you to have different. You can have an HQ Wolf Priest, or excuse me, Iron Priest, and an Elite Choice Iron Priest. It's all the directions in my mind are putting Space Wolves as the number 2 best overall codex there is to play right now. If not, it is in the top 3. I couldn't even tell you what the second place codex would be right now, but it is in the top 3 best codexes. This is why. They can do absolutely anything. Mm-hmm. they do objective secure better than anybody. They do drop pods, always have done drop pods really well, right? This now with what rules that they have, the being able to assault, I know that you guys spoke about it last week, but basically the Decurion that allows you to drop pod in, and one of the biggest powers of a drop pod army is that turn one shooting, the alpha aspect of it. Well, what is for all of us who haven't played drop pods and we've had to learn to fight against that, we've had to ramp our armies up to be able to deal with it. What's the number one way to deal with it? Is in close combat. Now they have figured out a way to counteract that. So they basically drop down, shoot, and then it feels like they also get turn one charging, because when you charge them, the other units surrounding them can make charge rolls as if it was their own turn. Okay, so that is a huge, huge ability.
And they count as charging.
Yes, that count as charging. So all of a sudden, the reason why that is so powerful, guys, is, and that is from the Decurion, and just so we have the verbiage, Haspel, do you have that?
Yeah, I do. So basically what it is once you've taken their, it's called the Wolfclaw Strike Force, and if you take that, the command benefit is called Countercharge.
Yep.
And at the end of your opponent's charge subphase, you can declare a charge with any unengaged units from this detachment, so long as each enemy unit that you attempt to charge is locked in combat with another unit from this detachment.
So the reason why this is so good, and like, I'm not trying to spam Adams this where I've got 20 drop pods and like 100 Marines, right? Let's get nasty with it, guys. And this is just out of a basic, we're not talking multiple formats, because when I build lists, I'm coming from a NID aspect. That's why, like, when you see my guard, for the most part, I do 1 or 2 detachments and it's of a single codex, right? That's still, I'm in that mindset. I haven't switched over to pull too many aspects from different areas yet, right? So when I build a list, the core of my list is kind of together. But Space Wolves are a standalone book of its own. They don't really need any help. But now I've got 8 drop pods or so that can all come in turn one, right, that are going to do all the firepower that I need them to do, that are going to be objective secured with units that I need them to be. And now I'm going to be able to countercharge, air quotes, units that have that. Now all of a sudden, let's break in and let's get Rob's unit that he was just talking about, the Wolfen. That unit is disgusting.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
fought it multiple times now. Now Robbie B's version was basically made a star out of it, so it had a
Two of them are
bone, yeah, because of sanctuary. It's got this and this, and it was basically unkillable. Like I had a 1,000-point star, and it literally pwned my 1,000-point star. I was able to get away enough with Khan and a couple guys that I was like, yo, I can't interact with you. I'm gonna go around and do something else, but not mess with you. Also, I played against it with multiple smaller 5-man units, and they are just as disgusting. But what happens is you don't need to buff the 5-man units when you have so many throwaway, per se, air quotes, units in front of them, right? So you've got so many different levels of threats. So this is one aspect, and this is just only one of those that I'm referring to, is that Decurion. Another reason why they're so amazing, obviously, as we've always talked about, is the company of the Great Wolf. Well, as I alluded to a little bit ago, Iron Priest's HQ choices and Elite choices are the sickest thing that I can imagine. I am able to now, and the reason why I want to talk about this is, guys, you can put an Iron Priest with a Thundercav and a few Fenrising Wolves in any unit out there, 5-man scout squad. This and this. Now your 5-man scout squad moves to 165 points. 165 points for an objective secured beat stick now. Nobody's going to drop in and just nuke your 5-man scout squad anymore. Now you've got some testicular fortitude within that unit, right? Or you link all these things together, and now you have a Death Star, right? They do preferred enemy. They do missile launchers, flyers. They have absolutely every answer in the game. They don't need to reach for anything.
Wow. That's a good point.
And a quick interrupt there, Juice. But the Wolfclaw Strike Force, I don't think they have objective secured.
So that's very true. But guess what? The Wolfclaw Strike Force isn't. It isn't very expensive.
No.
No, you're right.
So you can pair that with a CAD pretty easily.
Absolutely. And guess what I'm going to pair it with? I'm going to pair it with a CAD so I can get my Wolfen models that I was just referring to. Because guess what? When you drop shit in with drop pods, what's it going to do? Literally, it usually always dies. So I'm glad that I don't have that objective secure tax on top of those models. I'll spend my 700 points on that detachment to drop in that isn't objective secured, but it's got all these other special abilities that I want, right?
And you know what's interesting, Juice? You were just talking about the Thunderwolves and everything. That's important to note because in the last Space Wolf Codex, well, first off, the last Space Wolf Codex was considered one of the greatest codexes of all time for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the caveats in the old Space Wolf Codex was that Thunderwolves couldn't join anything.
Absolutely.
They could only be with other Thunderwolves. So that is for people who are like new to the game or new to Space Wolves and are just like reveling in this concept. It's like this is actually like open source like Space Wolves now, man. You can just drag and drop these fools anywhere, and that's amazing.
Yeah, so like
you can switch between the elite or the HQ depending on what you want to do with the Wolf Priest itself.
Yeah, and I know that there's a debate going on between the Wolfguard Battle Leader and the Iron Priest, but I am just looking at sheer point cost. I would still 9 times out of 10. I would much rather still just go ahead and spend a few less points. Now, I know he has 20 more points for the HQ, but he's giving me my extra wound and a +1 weapon skill. Like, I'm perfectly okay with this 150 points. I'm okay.
He's 100. He should be. Yeah. I mean, if you put all the bells, the only time it becomes a concern is if you put all the bells and whistles on.
Yeah, and that's not what you don't want them for. You know what I mean? You still look at the cheapness. If you're able, for example, to pick up 3 Iron Priests, 2 as elite choices, is 1 as HQ. You can go up to 4 as HQ and 6 as elite choices. Now you have 10 Iron Priests. Just to put this in perspective, right? 10 Iron Priests is going to run you at 1,200 points. Now I'm literally going to 1,100 points. So let's just drop it.
But also you have 4 Cyberwolves each, like 165 points for the elite ones and 185 points for the HQ ones, and literally you also have 40 Cyberwolves in the unit.
Yeah, so now you've got this, and so we've done it that much, and we've got the Cyberwolf, so now we're at like 1,400 points, right? So you're like, damn, what am I going to get? So now I'm going to go mid in a CAD and go, how many? I have 450 points left. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 6 squads of 5 guys. And now the mission calls for objective-based game. Now I'm literally going to sprinkle in all my Iron Priests in these 6 units, and nobody's fucking coming at me. Or objectives aren't a thing, right? And so now I'm gonna Mighty Morphin Power Ranger up these 10 Iron Priests and Cyberwolves, and now they get to do what they do. So it's like they do the best. They do.
Yeah. You can do like Raven Guard. Like all scouts, and they can all have stealth on the first turn and objective secure as your ally. You know what I'm saying? And you can all be attacked.
See, now people know why I don't like talking to these guys right before a tournament, because I'm 4 guys away from finishing painting my black mains, and they throw this nonsense out, and I'm like, oh man, I should do that.
But yeah, so like what I look at is something as powerful as like, is there multiple builds? Like I could go on and on for hours on making competitive ass GT winning lists out of the Space Wolf deck.
So this is Curse of the Wolfen. It really did breathe some new life into the
game. Yeah, it brought back. I feel it brought back kind of the feel of the Phil Kelly decks, where there's not one way to play the Space Wolves anymore.
Yeah,
you play them the way you want.
It definitely brought some flair back. I was talking the other day, and I was so frustrated when they got rid of sagas, right? Like, that made Space Wolves fluffy, like Saga the Bear, Saga the Majestic, or whatever it is.
The warrior born, like, always had a warrior born guy, always have a Majesty Lord. When you had a Thunderstar, you always had a Majesty Lord, and you always had a Bear Lord, always. Yep.
And so, like, what I liked is some of them obviously are more powerful. They deserved it, though, and then some of them sucked. It was terrible, so fine, whatever. Like, but that was fluffy, right? I am so happy that they got rid of stupid stuff like Wolftooth Talisman, which, in my opinion, I think is will go down on my top 10 most brokenest pieces of history.
No.
I loved it, man. 66% of the time it works every time.
We had that on a shirt one year when we were Team Twilight, I think.
Are you kidding me? For 10 points, like it unsung, like that is a broken piece of war gear.
It was so good because it bypassed all the hitting on sixes and close combat.
It doesn't matter. Like it was during that time period, I couldn't imagine something more broken on. You're talking an already one of probably pound for pound best troop unit in the game at the point in time, shy of a Gene Stealer, like best pound for pound troop. Now let's give them 10.
Oh, Grey Hunters! Oh my God! Did you guys talk about the wolf? You guys talk about the Wolf Banner? Amazing.
No, we didn't get there.
I'm at. Like, are you kidding me? Like again,
that thing used to be ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. So I'm like, all right, get rid of those two things. That's fine. But like they sucked out some of that flair with the sagas and all these other things. I honestly believe the ancient, whatever the title is that they just came out with, they have actually they've breathed some new light back into the Space Wolves, fluffiness wise. Am I a Space Wolf player? Hell no. I ain't got any Space Wolf models. I've said from the longest time, I like cool rules. I like getting excited for other people and seeing them get excited. So that's where I'm at.
Well, this definitely falls into the whole, like, the 3 ways to play 40K, in my opinion, or the 3 ways to make a new book, and that's have an MSU feel to it, have an elite feel to it, and then have the fluffy feel to it, which is very similar to the 3 modes of how you should make a good video game. You know what I mean? Like the co-op, the multiplayer, and then the story mode, the campaign mode. So, I feel like this Curse of the Wolf and supplement has really fulfilled all those roles.
Yeah.
Because now you have these different ways, and they have.
Don't forget what they did for the demons too. I mean, obviously we're talking about our Space was the real deal. Curse of the Wolf is the truth. They did the same thing for demons. They made the demons feel like a brand new codex, and obviously we got, obviously you talk about the longword.net. We just did a couple of new battle reports, so the new demon detachments.
Oh, it's so fresh.
Well, you can see some of that new stuff. You can see some of the new Fate Weaver style, some of the new Taliban format, but obviously. We obviously if you go on there, this is something I want to just mention real quick. I know it's a little off topic, but like the Longword.net has been like kind of changing and getting a facelift, and some people hear us talk about these amazing battle reports and they go on the Longword.net and they're like, where are they? All I see is this. Well, good news is that everything is 2 weeks early for you in the Longword.net. So the videos you're going to see right now are going to be Inside the Mind of a Tournament Player by Juice, chronicling his adventures. But if you go to the archive sections, by simply just scrolling down, just scroll down to archives, find battle reports, open that, and it's going to be chronological. You're going to be able to go back in time by date, and you will easily be able to find these new demons being played, and eventually we're going to have these new Space Wolves in here, and you'll be able to find them the same way. So I just want to give that little piece of tech out there because I know some people have been asking.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to navigate something new.
Yo, the next Kickstarter we do, which will never happen, we'll do our own version of Kickstarter, will be for a Long War app. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because you wanted to talk about that Vimeo thing, right?
Oh, yeah, that's something I did. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. So anybody who's checking our stuff out on a tablet or phone, checking out our Patreon pages, checking out the Longword.net, for some reason, Vimeo doesn't give you permission to see the exclusive content. So we use Vimeo to host those exclusive videos until they go to YouTube, so that we're not in violation of terms of agreement with YouTube, which is like a really secure link that's considered embedded. But for some reason, the tablet wants to view it as a link and not embedded, so it won't view. If you're having this problem, we don't have a solution for you today. You just have to go to your desktop to watch it.
It works on iOS. As far as I can tell.
Well, is that using the Patreon app, or
it's both? I've gotten it from both. I've gotten people using the Patreon app, using the Patreon full site, and people using the Longword.net. And I think for me and Rob, we don't have the problem because I think that we're like perpetually always have permission to be on Vimeo. At some point, it saved our login information or something. But it happened to me today. I just double checked it. It happened to me on my tablet. So I was like, okay, this is a real deal. The solution in the future will be a streamlined app that we will develop to have people get super sick access to all the veterans. But in the short term, use your PC, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll be checking out the settings and stuff here in next week or so when we get a free minute. But right now we don't have a solution for it. Things go into a queue to get kind of worked on, kind of type thing. But we do our best.
Absolutely true. I had to step away there for a guy, so I know I missed some of the best part of this episode that I wanted to be a part of. Nothing too serious. A little bit of minor family emergencies happening, but nothing that couldn't stop me from getting back on the second half of the show.
Oh no, we're just talking about the units and the new Space Wolves.
Oh my God,
Strike Force.
It is amazing, and I am so butthurt that I'm not a Space Wolf player right now.
Yeah, basically, and one thing I'd like to talk about, if I can't remember under what context was it earlier in the show, but basically, I know, Age of Sigmar models, like what to do, because obviously Age of Sigmar is terrible. Who knows? If you actually play the game, maybe it's fun, but like people are using those models for other cool things, right? Well, so my buddy, I'm talking about, we played back in 3rd and 4th edition. He got into the game and whatnot, and he's so balls deep into chaos, right? He is literally a chaos dude. That is his joint. He's not giving up. And furthermore, he's at other armies. He sold them all.
Are you talking about me? Who are you talking about?
No, I know. My other buddy, Luke. I got a lot of guys.
You have other buddies? What the fuck?
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and he's like, man, I just got all these chaos models. I don't know what to do, and it sucks as I want to get back in the game, but chaos sucks so hard. And we're talking about this dude's got like 80 Khorne Berserkers and like Noise Marines and like Thousand Suns and like not even.
Sorry, bro.
True story. Like he is a like OG Chaos player, like that played for the love of having different cool shit. So now I'm like, look, let me just tell you what you do, dog. You literally paint them all up and you play them as Space Wolves, motherfuckers. Like, don't get it twisted. This is what you do. I was like, let me just tell you, Robbie B has got the sickest Iron Hands army I've seen in the history of ever. But guess what? That is literally tricked out, and he's got Centurions Iron Warrior themed. He's got this and this. Like, it is perfectly acceptable.
Sometimes you have to play your Chaos counts as Imperials.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, I mean, and to be honest, I feel that Chaos plays Space Wolves very well.
Yeah.
Right? Like the
Grey Hunters are like a better version of all Chaos Space Marines for the history of time.
Yeah, and it's like I can get, they've got spikes. There's shit hanging around all the time. They always have. I mean, Chaos like basically was the pioneers of bolt pistol close combat weapon. Well, now Space Wolves do it even better. That's and he felt his like, nah, man, I can't do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like his passion for the game was like, nah, that sounds too cheesy.
Dog, you talking about Khorne Lords on Juggernauts with several arms of Iron Priests, with Flesh Hounds for Cyber Wolves. I mean,
absolutely. Like, people will lose their shit. Like, oh, this is amazing. This is awesome. So that's just kind of one of the things. I was like, it's time to be a Space Wolf player.
Did you guys talk about, like, obviously I stepped away for a second. You guys talk about Adepticon?
Yeah, we mentioned it.
Yeah, talking about how we're going to do interviews and such and whatnot. Absolutely, and more information coming up in the future in the next couple of weeks on maybe like a tentative schedule.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you guys in the next 3 weeks, and we're definitely going to be posting because we're going to be doing a meet and greet, aka social gathering in our suite. And I think Rob and I had discussed that we wanted to do that the night of our tournament. So our tournament is April 1st, the Long Wars Double event. It's scheduled to be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're talking 11 p.m. sharp, hosting a gathering in the suite for a couple hours, just so everyone's still amped, give people opportunity to grab their food and everything and show up. Because obviously it's just the best time we can squeeze it in. And we're thinking about selling swag bags, either there or through the website. We're not sure yet, but that might be your best opportunity to get some swag right there. So we're going to be posting this stuff up in the next 3 weeks. Also, between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. on April 1st will be your best opportunity to purchase all the leftover swag from the Kickstarter. It'll be for sale during the Long War Doubles event, at the Long War Doubles event. Juice, the commander-in-chief of selling items.
Yep.
The swag master.
Find us at the table, the the judges table in and around that area.
Yes, in and around it, but mainly in it.
In it.
Jokes. Man, I have no idea how long we've been talking for because there's no timer on this thing.
It's been roughly an hour. I've been having to use an analog watch to track our movements because we are using new technology.
Whoa. Oh man.
Well, absolutely. Well, and again, it has flown by. We've had almost. It's really cool. The amount of people that have actually are actually still viewing us now, and continue. We've had quite a few people in here hit some questions, and we're not going to use this as to ever answer them in the future. Just kind of let everybody know that's kind of the theme of what's going on. That this is the podcast. It will get Kenny will cast spells and work magic and somehow transform this into a audio file.
Yep. And it'll be edited down. It'll be shiny. I'll run my Beats Lab magic on it. But we're also going to start putting this out as another piece of exclusive content to the Hall of Veterans. We're going to an unedited, unadulterated version of this. We'll make it to the Hall of Veterans for the Veterans of the Long War only to view. So in case they were curious of some of our process, some of the things we do, some of our pre-game shenanigans, that'll be available to you.
The Long War After Hours.
Long War After Hours. And we do plan on having some video attached to that in the future. Just today we didn't because we are, mobile Beats Lab, new technology. We couldn't.
One of us
too
is
crazy.
on a phone.
I'm on a phone currently. Shit has gotten super real. I'm in a garage in Banning, California. On a phone.
Just to kind of put a face to kind of like what we're talking about, almost how Mike and Mike is on ESPN. They're started out and they are a podcast, but now they've put it in and now it's a TV show with audio or with videos attached to it. But ultimately, everything they do is out on a podcast. So maybe that's something that we're referring to, down the way, trying to nibble our hands in, feet in.
I think they stole our idea.
I love they retroactively stole our idea from the future in a time capsule.
Yeah.
But I do believe if you wanted to, Rob, you could wrap this up and feel comfortable about it.
All right. As long as I have the committee's approval.
All you need is 66% of the committee because because when that happens, we literally become your boss.
I have one cat on my lap, so I outrank you all.
That's right. The Blofeld clause.
Yep. This is happening. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this one. So hopefully you enjoyed our new fresh take on the Space Wolf Codex, because I certainly have been in my Beats Lab working up some ideas and some different directions to take with this, and hopefully we can act on it. This is a great book, and I can't wait to see what GW comes out with next. So make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of all the battle reports and now all this exclusive behind-the-scenes after-hour content. Ooh. Become a veteran of the Long War today. Good night, everybody.